Elderly man was alone in the park with a cake, until an unknown child sang happy birthday. Mr. Walter held the small cake with trembling hands as he tried to light the candle alone on the park bench. It was his 75th birthday, but for the third year in a row no one had come to celebrate with him. A tiny child's voice broke the painful silence that had surrounded him for hours. Tyler, an 8-year-old boy with curly hair and curious eyes, had stopped playing to watch the lonely old man with his simple cake. "Happy birthday to you on this special day," the boy sang timidly as he approached, his little hands clapping to the rhythm of the song. Walter looked up, surprised, feeling the tears he had tried to hold back for so long finally roll down his wrinkled cheeks. He never imagined the sweetest voice he'd hear that day would come from a complete stranger. "Thank you, son," the elderly man murmured, his voice choked. "Would you like a piece?" Tyler nodded eagerly and sat beside the man on the wooden bench. The cake was plain from a bakery, but the taste of kindness made it special. "Why are you alone on your birthday?" the boy asked with the blunt honesty of children. Walter sighed deeply. How could he explain to a child that his 3 children had drifted away, that his daughters-in-law no longer considered him family, that his grandchildren didn't even know he existed? "Sometimes people forget important dates," he replied, trying not to burden the boy's heart further. "My grandma always says birthdays are sacred. No one should be alone." Tyler's words echoed in Walter's chest like a bell. It had been so long since anyone genuinely cared about his feelings. The boy kept eating the cake, swinging his legs that didn't quite reach the ground. "I live over there," he pointed to a nearby apartment complex, "with Grandma Dorothy. Her cakes are better than the bakeries. Your grandma must be a special person." "She is. She's taken care of me since I was a baby. My parents, they couldn't stay with me." Walter recognized a familiar pain in the boy's voice. Both knew abandonment, each in their own way. "Tyler, I have 3 children," Walter confessed suddenly. "But it's been years since we really talked." "Why?" "It's complicated, son. Adults sometimes make problems where there aren't any." The boy finished his slice of cake and wiped his hands on his brown t-shirt. His eyes sparkled with a determination that surprised the old man. "Have you tried calling them?" Their numbers changed. They moved. Life went on without old Walter. "But do you know where they live?" "I know Karen works at the downtown health clinic. Richard has an auto shop, but I don't know if it's still in the same place. And Jennifer?" The youngest was always the most stubborn. Tyler jumped off the bench with renewed energy. "Then let's go find them." "What do you mean, boy?" "I'll help you. My grandma always says family is family, no matter what happened." Walter felt something he hadn't in years: hope. This unknown child was willing to help him when his own children weren't. "You don't even know me, Tyler. Why would you do this?" "Because everyone deserves to have family on their birthday," the boy replied with disarming simplicity. That afternoon they walked together to the downtown health clinic in Tucson. Tyler chatted non-stop, talking about school, friends, and his favorite cartoons. Walter listened to every word, feeling less alone with each step. The clinic was busy. At the reception desk, a young clerk typed quickly on the computer. "Excuse me," said Walter hesitantly. "I'm looking for my daughter, Karen Parker Reynolds. She works here." The receptionist looked up, studying the elderly man and the boy beside him. "Let me check, is Karen Parker?" "Yes, she works here, but she left early today. Is it an emergency?" No emergency. I'm her father." "Oh," the young woman smiled. "She always talks about you. Let me write down your number. She'll be so happy." Walter was confused. Karen talked about him at work. How was that possible if they hadn't spoken in 3 years? "Actually, I don't have a phone," he admitted sheepishly. Tyler tugged at the old man's coat sleeve. "We'll come back tomorrow," he told him. "What time does she get in?" 7 in the morning, the receptionist replied. They left the clinic with a strange feeling. Something didn't add up. If Karen talked about her father at work, why didn't they stay in touch? "Mr. Walter, the lady said your daughter always talks about you. That's good." "I don't understand, Tyler. If she talks about me, why doesn't she reach out? Sometimes grown-ups are just complicated, the boy said wisely beyond his years. On their way back, they passed the auto shop where Richard supposedly worked. The place was closed, but a sign on the door read, "Richard's Auto Shop, trusted mechanic for 20 years. It was him. "Look there," Tyler pointed excitedly. "That's your son." A middle-aged man was bent over a car hood, his hands covered in grease. When he lifted his head, Walter immediately recognized the familiar features. Richard had gained weight, had more wrinkles, but he was still his son. "Dad?" Richard dropped his tool, stunned. "Hi, son." For a few seconds, father and son just stared at each other in silence. Tyler watched with interest, sensing the tension in the air. "What are you doing here?" Richard asked, wiping his hands on his overalls. "It's my birthday today. 75. I know. I always remember the dates." "Then why what, Dad? Why don't I call? Why don't I visit? You know exactly why." Tyler noticed the conversation was getting tense and decided to step in. "Hi, I'm Tyler. I'm helping Mr. Walter find his family." Richard looked at the boy curiously. "And who are you, kid?" "A friend. I sang happy birthday to him in the square because he was alone." Richard's expression softened slightly. "Dad, we can't talk here. I have customers waiting." "I understand, son. I just wanted to see you. Look, there's a diner around the corner. If you want to wait, I'll finish up here in an hour and we can talk." It was progress. Small, but progress. At the diner, Tyler sipped orange juice while Walter talked about his years of loneliness, how he did odd jobs for neighbors to get by, how he missed family Sundays. "Mr. Walter, what really happened with your kids?" The old man sighed. The truth was harder to explain to a child than he'd imagined. "When their mother got sick 6 years ago, we had a lot of medical bills. I sold our house to pay for her treatment. After she passed, my kids thought I'd wasted the family's money. But you spent it to save their mum." "Yes, but they didn't see it that way then. They were hurting, angry. They needed someone to blame. And they blamed you." "Exactly. They said I was irresponsible, that I'd thrown away their inheritance. Karen even said I never truly cared about the family." Tyler was outraged. "But that's not true." "No, it's not. But when people are in pain, sometimes they say things they don't mean." Richard walked into the diner still in his shop uniform. He ordered coffee and sat across from his father and the boy. "Dad, I need to talk to you about some things." "Go ahead, son. All these years, I always wanted to reach out to you, but my pride wouldn't let me." "Pride about what?" "About admitting I was wrong, that I said things I shouldn't have when Mom passed." Walter felt his heart race. Could it be that his children had also suffered from the distance? "Richard, you don't have to apologize, I understand." "No, Dad, I do. We treated you badly, blamed you for things that weren't your fault." Tyler smiled faintly, sensing he was witnessing something special. "And your sisters?" Walter asked carefully. "Karen still struggles to this day. She always says at work that she misses her dad but doesn't know how to find you." "That's strange, son. I still live in the same place." "Where do you live?" 342 Maple Street. Richard's eyes widened. "Dad, we looked for you at that address so many times. The neighbor told us you'd moved." "Which neighbor?" "Mrs. Jenkins, the one with glasses. She said you went to live with relatives in another town." Walter was stunned. "Mrs. Jenkins never liked me. Always thought I made too much noise with my repairs. But why would she lie?" "I don't know, Dad, but we really tried to find you." Tyler listened intently. There was a huge misunderstanding here. "Mr. Richard, do you have your dad's phone number?" "No, Tyler. The landline was cut soon after Mom passed and Dad never had a cell phone." "Did you try going to the house anyway?" "We did a few times, but it always seemed like no one was home." Walter began to understand. His daily job searches coincided with his children's attempts to find him, and Mrs. Jenkins's lie had made everything worse. "Son, I never left. Every day, from 7 in the morning till noon, I go out looking for work. But I always come home." "Dad," Richard rubbed his face. We lost 6 years because of a misunderstanding. And Jennifer? Walter asked. Jennifer. She's had a hard time. Struggled with drinking after Mum passed. She's getting help but still has bad days. Where is she? Lives in a small apartment near downtown. Works at a clothing store when she can. Dad, she misses you too, but she's ashamed of what she's become. Tyler shook his head, saddened by so much unnecessary pain. Guys, you're family. Families should stick together. The boy's simple words echoed in the hearts of the two men. Tyler's right, Richard said. We need to get together, talk properly. Do you think your sisters will want to see me? Dad, I'm sure they will. Here's what we'll do. Tomorrow, when you talk to Karen at the downtown health clinic, I'll bring Jennifer. The 4 of us will talk. Walter nodded, but Tyler noticed the old man was nervous. What if they're still mad at me? They won't be, Dad. We've grown up, matured, and learned that family is what matters most. As they said goodbye, Richard hugged his father for the first time in 6 years. It was a tight embrace, bringing tears to both their eyes. Dad, do you have enough money to eat properly? I do, son. Don't worry about me. But Richard noticed his father's worn clothes, his shoes with thin soles. Quietly, he slipped some bills into the old man's coat pocket. See you tomorrow, Dad. See you tomorrow, son. Tyler and Walter walked back to the square where it all began. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange. Mr. Walter, are you happy? Very happy, Tyler. Happier than I've been in years. Tomorrow will be even better. How can you be so sure? Because family is family, and you love each other. You were just confused. That night, Walter barely slept. Between anxiety and hope, his heart raced. The next morning, Tyler showed up early with a notebook and pen. What's that for, son? I'm going to write down everything you talk about. That way, no one forgets anything important. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now, back to the story. They arrived at the downtown health clinic at 7 sharp. Karen was also arriving, dressed in her white uniform, with her bag slung over her shoulder. When she saw her father waiting at the entrance, she stopped mid-sidewalk. Dad? Her voice came out as a whisper. Hi, sweetheart. Karen looked around as if to make sure she wasn't dreaming. Walter was there, real, thinner and older, but there. Richard called me last night. He told me you two had met. And you came anyway. I always wanted to see you, Dad, but I didn't know how. Tyler watched everything with interest, jotting notes in his little notebook. Karen, can we talk? Of course, Dad, but I have to work. Can we do it at lunch? Whenever you want, sweetheart. Noon, right here. Richard said he's bringing Jennifer too. How is she? Better, much better. She hasn't had a drink in 8 months. She's working, taking care of herself. I didn't know. None of us knew anything about each other's lives, Dad. But that's going to change. Karen looked at Tyler curiously. And who's this young gentleman? I'm Tyler. I sang happy birthday to your dad yesterday in the square because he was alone. You sang happy birthday to my dad? I did. And now I'm helping him find his family. Karen knelt to the boy's height. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you for looking after my dad. No problem. Family should stick together. At noon, the 4 of them gathered in the same spot where Tyler had sung happy birthday the day before. Jennifer arrived nervously, fidgeting with her hands, avoiding direct eye contact with her father. Hi, Dad, she said almost inaudibly. Hi, my youngest, Walter replied tenderly. Jennifer finally looked up. She was thinner, with dark circles under her eyes, but her gaze had a clarity it hadn't had in years. Dad, I need to apologize. You don't have to apologize for anything, sweetheart. Yes, I do. I said horrible things when Mom passed. I blamed you for her not getting better. I called you selfish, said you only thought about yourself. Jennifer, let me finish, Dad. After Mum was gone, I started drinking. A lot. I lost jobs, lost friends, almost lost my life. Deep down, I knew I was wrong about you. That you did the best you could. Tyler scribbled everything down in his notebook, focused. During treatment, I realized I was using you as an excuse for my problems. The anger I felt wasn't toward you, it was at the situation, at life, at the unfairness of losing Mom so young. Sweetheart, you don't have to explain. I do, Dad. Because I want you to know I love you. I always have. Even when I said I hated you. Richard, Karen, and Tyler were moved. Walter stood and hugged his youngest daughter, who broke into tears. I love you too, Jennifer, always have. I never stopped worrying about you. Karen joined the hug, followed by Richard. Tyler watched with a full heart, seeing a family reunite. We've lost so much time, Karen said, but we won't lose any more. Never again, Richard agreed. Dad, I want you to meet your grandchildren, Karen suddenly said. My grandchildren? You have 3 grandkids, Dad. Jason, who's 12, Emma, 8, and Ethan, 6. My kids with Michael. And I have 2 girls, Richard added. Olivia, 10, and Sophia, 7. Walter could hardly believe it. He had 5 grandchildren he'd never met. Why didn't they ever come looking for me? Because we told them you'd moved far away, Karen admitted, ashamed. We lied to them. But now we'll tell them the truth, promised Richard, and they'll get to meet their grandfather. Tyler closed his little notebook, satisfied. His mission was almost complete. We should throw a party, the boy declared, a family reunion party. Tyler's right, said Jennifer. Dad, how about we have lunch this Sunday? You can meet your grandchildren. My house is too small. At my place, Dad, offered Karen. I have a grill in the backyard. We can have a barbecue. I'll bring the drinks, said Richard. And I'll make dessert, added Jennifer. What about me? Asked Tyler. Can I come too? Of course you can, the 3 siblings replied in unison. You're part of the family now, said Walter. If it weren't for you, we never would have found each other again. Tyler grinned from ear to ear. Over the following week, the 3 siblings prepared everything for the Sunday gathering. Karen got the house ready, Richard bought meat for the barbecue, and Jennifer practiced a recipe for a layered dessert. Tyler visited Walter every day to check on the preparations. The elderly man had bought new clothes with the money Richard had discreetly slipped into his pocket. Mr. Walter, are you nervous? Very nervous, Tyler. What if my grandchildren don't like me? They will. Kids love grandpas. But I don't know how to talk to children. You talk to me every day. That's true, Walter laughed. You taught me. On Sunday, Tyler picked up Walter early. The old man looked sharp in a dress shirt and tailored pants, his hair neatly combed back. You look handsome. You think so? I do. Just like my grandpa in the photos Grandma has. At Karen's house, the children waited curiously. Jason, the oldest, was skeptical. Emma and Ethan played in the backyard. Olivia and Sophia helped their aunt set the table. When Walter arrived, there was a moment of silence. The children stared at the man who was supposedly their grandfather, but whom they'd never met before. Kids, come meet Grandpa Walter, Karen called. Jason approached hesitantly. Why didn't you ever come see us before? The direct question took everyone by surprise. Walter knelt to be at his grandson's eye level. Jason, it's a long story, but what matters is I'm here now, and I want to get to know all of you. My mom said you lived far away. Actually, I've always lived nearby. Sometimes grown-ups get mixed up and stop talking for a while. Emma, the 8-year-old, stepped closer. Are you really our grandpa? Yes, sweetheart. Then why don't we have any pictures of you at home? Another tough question. Karen intervened. Emma, we'll explain everything later. For now, let's enjoy having Grandpa here. Ethan, the 6-year-old, was the least reserved. He ran and hugged his grandfather's legs. Grandpa, can you take me to the park? Of course I can, little one. Tyler watched everything with satisfaction. The barriers were breaking down naturally. The lunch was lively. The children talked about school, friends, and their favorite cartoons. Walter listened carefully to every word, asking questions and showing genuine interest. Grandpa, do you know how to play video games? Asked Jason. I don't, grandson, but if you teach me, I'll learn. Really? Really. From that moment on, Jason perked up. He spent the rest of the afternoon teaching his grandpa how to play, laughing at the old man's clumsy attempts. Sophia, Richard's daughter, was shy. She watched from a distance until Tyler encouraged her. "Go talk to your grandpa. He's really nice." "How do you know?" "Because he's my friend, and I only have nice friends." Sophia approached slowly. "Grandpa, do you like to draw?" "I love it. Do you like to draw too?" "Yes. Can I show you my drawings?" "Of course you can." Sophia ran to get her sketchbook. She showed each page to her grandfather, explaining every drawing in detail. Walter praised everything sincerely. Olivia, 10 years old, was the most inquisitive. "Grandpa, why did Dad get sad when he talked about you?" Richard nearly choked on his soda. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" "You always got sad on Father's Day, and you said you missed your dad." "That's true," Richard admitted. "I really did miss him." "Then why didn't you talk to each other?" "Sometimes people fight and then feel too ashamed to make up," Walter explained. "But have you made up now?" "We sure have." "Thank goodness." Olivia sighed in relief. That afternoon, while the adults talked, the children played with Tyler in the backyard. Walter watched everything with a smile on his face. "Dad, thank you for showing up," said Karen. "It was Tyler who found me. I was about to give up." "Never give up on us again," Jennifer pleaded. "We don't deserve it, but we can't stand being apart either." "From now on, we'll see each other every week," Richard promised. "And you'll come for Sunday lunch here every week," Karen added. "You don't have to do this out of obligation." "It's not obligation, Dad," Jennifer interrupted. "It's want, longing, love." Tyler came running into the house. "Mr. Walter, the kids want to know if you can go to the park with them." "Of course I can. And if you can tell stories." "I can tell as many stories as you want." "And if you can teach us how to make kites." "Absolutely," Tyler smiled, satisfied. His mission was officially complete. A week later, Tyler was at the square when he saw Walter arriving with Emma and Ethan. The grandchildren had insisted on seeing the place where their grandfather used to sit alone. "Tyler," Emma shouted, "Grandpa said you sang happy birthday to him." "I sure did, and now he's never alone on his birthday." "Never again," Ethan confirmed. Walter approached the boy who had changed his life. "Tyler, how can I thank you?" "No need to thank me. Friends help each other. Do you want to have lunch with us today? Can I bring my grandma?" "Of course. I'd love to meet Mrs. Dorothy." That afternoon, two families came together at Karen's table. Mrs. Dorothy, a 62-year-old woman, talked at length with Walter about the challenges of raising grandchildren alone. "You did a fine job with your kids," she said. "They only drifted apart because they were hurting, but they came back because the love was always there. And you did an even better job with Tyler. I've never seen a child with such a big heart." Tyler listened while playing with his new cousins, as he had decided to call Walter's grandchildren. Months passed. The Sunday routine at Karen's house became a tradition. Walter arrived early to help with preparations, played with his grandchildren, and talked with his kids about work, life, and future plans. Richard secured a car maintenance contract with the city and invited his father to help with the administrative side. Walter happily accepted, glad to feel useful again. Karen arranged cheaper health insurance for her father through the downtown health clinic where she worked. Jennifer, now 1 year sober, started visiting her father during the week, bringing dinner and company. Tyler kept showing up regularly, now officially adopted by the family. Mrs. Dorothy and Walter became close friends, sharing their experiences of growing older. In December, Tyler's birthday arrived. Walter insisted on organizing a surprise party in the event hall of Karen's apartment complex. All the kids from Tyler's school were invited. "Tyler, close your eyes," Emma said. "Why?" "It's a surprise." Tyler closed his eyes and was led into the hall. When he opened them, he saw a full party: cake, sweets, soda, balloons, and a huge banner that read, "Happy birthday, Tyler. Thank you for bringing our family together." The boy cried with emotion. "I had never had a birthday party before." "Did you like the surprise?" asked Walter. "It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. You deserve it, my son. You deserve this and so much more." During the party, Mrs. Dorothy chatted with Karen about how important Tyler had been at the family gathering. "That boy has a special gift," the older woman said. "He sees what adults can't." What do you mean? That family is family, no matter what happens. In the end, love always wins. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps those of us just starting out. Now, continuing. At the beginning of the following year, something unexpected happened. Mrs. Jenkins, the neighbor who had lied about Walter's move, showed up at the elderly man's door. "Walter, I need to talk to you." "Hello, Mrs. Jenkins, please come in." The woman entered nervously, fidgeting with her purse. "I came to apologize." "Apologize for what?" "For lying to your children, for telling them you had moved away." Walter was surprised. He hadn't expected her to confess. "Why did you do that, Mrs. Jenkins?" Because I was jealous." "Jealous? Your kids came here looking for you. They showed you care and concern. Mine never look for me. They live in New York, call once a month, just ask if I'm okay and hang up." Walter began to understand. His neighbor was dealing with her own loneliness. "When I saw how much your children cared, I got angry. Why did they care when mine didn't? So I decided you didn't deserve to have loving children." "Mrs. Jenkins, I know it was wrong. Very wrong. I caused pain for all 6 of you. I tore a family apart out of pure envy." "Do you regret it?" "Deeply. I can't even sleep anymore thinking about the harm I've caused." Walter thought for a moment. "Mrs. Jenkins, we all make mistakes. What matters is recognizing them and trying to make things right." "How can I make something like this right?" "You already have. You came here to confess. You asked for forgiveness. And do you forgive me?" "I do, and you know why. Because I've learned that holding on to grudges only hurts ourselves." Mrs. Jenkins cried with relief. "Thank you, Walter. You're a better person than I deserve. Would you like some coffee? I can tell you how my family got back together." "I'd love that." That afternoon, Walter shared the whole story of Tyler, the birthday song in the square, the search for his children, and the reconciliation. Mrs. Jenkins listened, fascinated. "That Tyler is such a special boy." "He really is. He completely changed our lives." "And your children? How did they react when they found out about my lie?" "They were upset at first, but they understood. Richard said something that stuck with me. What matters is that we're together now." Mrs. Jenkins sighed. "I wish I had the courage to call my children." "Why don't you?" "I'm afraid of bothering them. They have busy lives in New York." "Mrs. Jenkins, can I give you some advice? Please, call them, tell them you miss them. Kids like knowing their mother thinks about them." "You think so?" "I'm sure of it. And if you'd like, I can ask Karen to help you with the numbers. She's good with phone stuff." A week later, Mrs. Jenkins showed up at Karen's house with 2 numbers scribbled on a crumpled piece of paper. "Karen, your father said you could help me call my children." "Of course, Mrs. Jenkins. Let's call them right now." The first call was to her oldest son. "Hello, Robert, it's Mom." "Mom, is something wrong? Are you okay?" "I'm fine, son. I just missed talking to you." "Oh, that's nice, Mom. I missed you too." The conversation lasted an hour. Robert talked about his job, his wife, and their plans to have children. Mrs. Jenkins listened intently, asking questions and showing interest. "Mom, why don't you come spend a few days here in New York?" "You'd like that?" "Of course I would. Jessica also wants to get to know you better. Then I'll come." After hanging up, Mrs. Jenkins was beaming. "Karen, my son invited me to visit. How wonderful. See? It didn't hurt to call, did it? I'll call Michael too." The second call had a similar result. Michael was also happy to talk to his mother and made plans to visit her the following month. "Walter was right," said Mrs. Jenkins. "Kids like knowing their mother thinks of them." "They always do," Karen confirmed. That night, Mrs. Jenkins knocked on Walter's door again. "I came to tell you I talked to my kids. And how did it go?" "Wonderful. They were so loving, made plans for us to see each other, and here I was, too embarrassed to call." "I'm so happy for you, Mrs. Jenkins. Walter, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "How do you manage to be so kind? I caused so much harm to your family." "Because I learned something important. Life's too short to hold on to grudges. I'd rather spend my time being happy. Who taught you that? An 8-year-old boy who sang happy birthday to me in the square. In March, Tyler turned 9. This time, the whole family organized an even bigger party. Walter suggested holding it in the square where it all began, under the big tree. "Why the square, Grandpa?" asked Emma. "Because that's where I met Tyler. I want to celebrate where our family reunited." On the day of the party, over 30 people showed up. All of Walter's grandchildren, his children, daughters-in-law, brothers-in-law, Grandma Dorothy, Tyler's school friends, neighbors who knew the story. Tyler was emotional. He looked around and saw all those people gathered because of him, because of a simple happy birthday he'd decided to sing one day. "Hey, can I say something?" the boy asked. Everyone gathered closer. "When I saw Mr. Walter alone in the square with that cake, I just thought no one deserves to be alone on their birthday. I never imagined it would lead to all this." "It did because you have a huge heart," said Jennifer. "And because you saw what we adults couldn't," added Richard. "What couldn't you see?" "That family is family," Karen replied, "no matter what happens." Tyler smiled. "Grandma Dorothy always says that." "Your grandmother is very wise," said Walter. "Just like you, Mr. Walter." "No, my boy, you're the wise one. You taught us what's important in life." That afternoon, as everyone celebrated, Walter watched Tyler playing with his grandchildren. The boy had created a family for himself simply by being kind, being human, being a child. Grandma Dorothy approached Walter. "Walter, can I ask you a personal question?" "Of course, Dorothy." "What do you feel when you look at that boy?" Walter thought for a few seconds. "Gratitude. And I feel like I understand better what it means to be a grandfather." "How so?" "Being a grandfather isn't just about taking care of your grandkids. It's about learning from them, letting them teach us about the world." "What did Tyler teach you?" "That it's never too late to start over, that people are good by nature, that a small kindness can change an entire life." Grandma Dorothy smiled. "That boy changed a lot around here, not just in your family." "How so?" "Mrs. Jenkins talks to her kids every week. Richard got Mrs. Robinson's son a job. Karen is organizing a support group for the elderly in the neighborhood." "Really?" "Really. Tyler's kindness is spreading." "How beautiful." That night, when the party ended and everyone left, Tyler stayed behind to help clean up the square. Walter watched as the boy picked up disposable cups and bagged the trash. "Tyler, you don't have to do that." "Yes, I do. The square belongs to everyone. We have to take care of it." "Why?" "Because this is where you got your family back. This place is special." Walter felt his eyes grow moist. That boy kept surprising him with his simple wisdom. "Tyler, can I tell you a secret?" "Sure." "You saved my life." "How?" "I was giving up on everything, thinking no one cared about me. If you hadn't sung happy birthday that day, what would have happened? I probably would have gotten sadder and sadder, lonelier and lonelier." Tyler stopped picking up trash and looked seriously at the old man. "Mr. Walter, everyone matters. Everyone deserves to be happy." "Where did you learn that?" "My grandma always says it. She says God made everyone special, each in their own way." "Your grandma is right. And you know what else she says?" "What?" "That when we do good, good comes back to us multiplied." Walter looked around the square. He thought of his reunited family, the grandchildren he'd met, the children he'd regained, the neighbor who'd reconciled with her own kids. "Your grandma is absolutely right, Tyler. So that means I did good?" "You did the greatest good of your life, and mine too." Tyler smiled and went back to picking up trash. Walter helped, and together they left the square clean and tidy. When they finished, they sat on the same bench where it had all begun a year earlier. "Mr. Walter, can I ask you something?" "You can ask as many questions as you want." "Are you happy now?" Walter looked at the starry sky, took a deep breath and felt his heart full of peace. "I'm very happy, Tyler. Very, very happy." "Good. Every grandpa should be happy." "And you? Are you happy?" "Very. I have my grandma, I have you, I have your kids, I have my new cousins, I have a huge family. And we have you." Tyler snuggled up next to the old man on the bench. "Mr. Walter?" "Yes?" "Next year for your birthday, we're throwing a huge party with a 3-tier cake." "It doesn't have to be that big, Tyler." "Yes, it does, because now you have a whole bunch of people to celebrate with." "That's true. I really do. And you know what else?" "What?" "I'll sing Happy Birthday again, but this time it won't just be me. It'll be everyone singing together." Walter hugged the boy, feeling deep emotion. "Thank you, Tyler, for everything." "You're welcome, Mr. Walter. That's what friends are for." That night, when they got home, each carried in their heart the certainty that they'd found something very special. A family chosen by the heart, united by kindness, strengthened by love. And that's how a simple Happy Birthday song in the square turned 2 lonely lives into a big family full of love, laughter, and hope. A year later, on Walter's 76th birthday, the square was too small for so many people. There were children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. Karen had given birth to a boy, friends, neighbors, and co-workers. Tyler, now 10 years old, was at the center of it all, organizing the birthday singing. His voice was still the clearest and happiest of all. When they finished singing, Walter asked to speak. "Everyone, I want to thank you all for being here today. 2 years ago, I was alone in this same square, thinking no one cared about me." "You'll never be alone again, Grandpa," shouted Ethan. "Never again," Walter confirmed. "And you know why? Because a special boy taught me that family isn't just who you're born with. Family is who chooses to stay together." Everyone applauded. Tyler turned red with embarrassment, but smiled proudly. "Tyler, come here," Walter called. The boy approached. "I want to give you something." Walter pulled a small wrapped box from his pocket. "For me?" "For you." Tyler opened it carefully. Inside was a gold chain with a heart-shaped pendant. "Mr. Walter, this is too expensive." "And you're worth much more than that, my boy." "But I can't accept." "Yes, you can. Turn the heart over." Tyler turned the pendant over. On the other side was engraved, "To Tyler, who taught me what family means. With love, Grandpa Walter." The boy cried with emotion. Mrs. Dorothy was also crying, as were Karen, Richard, and Jennifer. "Tyler, would you like to be officially my adopted grandson?" asked Walter. "What do you mean?" "I want you to be an official part of our family, forever." Tyler looked at Mrs. Dorothy, who nodded with a smile. "You can accept, my grandson. You deserve it." "Then I accept," shouted Tyler, jumping into the old man's arms. The party went on late into the night. There was music, dancing, and games. The children ran around the square, the adults chatted excitedly, and the elderly shared stories from their youth. When everyone had left, Tyler and Walter were alone in the square, just like on the first day. "Mr. Walter, am I really your grandson now?" "Really, and forever." "And you're really my grandpa?" "Really, and forever." Tyler touched the heart pendant on his chest. "This is the most beautiful gift I've ever received." "You've given me an even greater gift, Tyler." "What gift?" "A family, a reason to live, hope for the future. I just sang Happy Birthday. You did much more than that. You showed that love can heal any wound, that it's never too late to start over, that good people always find each other." Tyler smiled. "Grandma Dorothy always said I had a special mission in life. And you did. What was it?" "To teach adults what you kids have always known." "What do we know?" "That love is simple, that being happy is a choice, that family is whoever truly cares." Tyler hugged his adoptive grandfather, feeling complete. He had found in the heart of a lonely old man the grandfatherly love he'd never had, and he had given the old man the grandson's affection he thought he'd lost forever. "Grandpa Walter?" "Yes, my grandson. Next year on my birthday, can I ask for something?" "You can ask for anything." "I want the party to be here in the square again, to remember where it all began." "It will be here, and every year after that too." "Forever. Forever, Tyler. Forever." And so, a simple happy birthday song became a family tradition that would last a lifetime, because when true love blossoms, It takes root so deeply that not even time can uproot it. Walter and Tyler walked home hand in hand, knowing they had found in each other the family they'd always searched for. And in the square, silent under the moonlight, the wooden bench held in its fibers the memory of the day two lonely souls became a family forever. The end. Now tell us, do you believe small acts of kindness can change lives? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to the channel for more heartwarming stories.